Joe Biden reportedly huddling with his family this weekend to discuss a potential 2016 candidacy. And now CNN has learned that some of his representatives met with officials from the Democratic National Committee this week. On the agenda, campaign deadlines. A Democratic official tells CNN this was just part of an ongoing effort to get the details on ballot access in different states. Now, should Biden decide to enter the race, but they say he still has not made his decision. If he does enter the race, some say his candidacy could be billed as a third term of President Obama. But could that be considered a good thing for him? Would Biden be able to count on that strong wave of minority support that the president rode into the White House, especially when his rival is Hillary Clinton? Here to discuss, Sabrina Schaefer, the executive director of the Independent Women's Forum, and Bakari Sellers, CNN contributor and a former member of the South Carolina State Legislature. Bakari, I want to start with you. You made some comments in the New York Times saying Biden's play for African Americans could be tricky if he enters the race because of the issue of mass incarceration, which is, of course, part of the discussion this election cycle. You question his record on this issue. Explain.
Well, first of all, I think voters all understand, and I think Joe Biden's biggest issue in getting in the race is that Joe Biden is not Barack Obama. And mass incarceration is something that's being talked about throughout the African-American community, not just in South Carolina, but in voting blocks around the country. Just today, Hillary Clinton is in Washington, D.C., meeting with Black Lives Matter movement and activists, including D. Ray and others, and she's taken this issue seriously from her speech in New York at the Dinkins Institute throughout the campaign trail. And there are a lot of questions surrounding Joe Biden and where he stands on mass incarceration. And I'm not saying that Joe Biden can't give the answers, but we're just waiting on him to give the answers and put forth the comprehensive criminal justice plan. The matter is, when Joe Biden was a United States Senator, he put forth a plan at the time that was signed into law by President Clinton and even voted for by Bernie Sanders, which has a lot of African Americans, especially African American males, in prison still today for lesser offenses. And that's a problem, and Joe Biden, I believe, understands that's a problem, but it's one he has to tackle if he's going to run for president of the United States.
No doubt the minority vote is going to be important for any Democrat. At least we've seen that in the past. Sabrina, it did seem like this week Biden perhaps was making a play for the Latino voter as well. Listen to what he told a group at an event for Florida's Secretary of State.
I could see sadness in everybody's face. People walked in like literally down because of the beating Hispanics are taking at the hands of the Republican caucus, Republican presidential race. People are depressed. And the message I have for you guys is, these guys don't remotely speak for America. The American people are so much better.
Now, obviously, he's taking aim there at Republicans, saying Americans are better than that. Does he sound like a candidate to you?
Well, I mean, he definitely always sounds like a candidate. I think Joe Biden's someone who's always thinking about the next step. But look, I think one of the issues here is that it's not simply about Latino voters or African-American voters. What this is really going to come down to is women voters of color. They are the critical voting bloc here. We've seen this now in 2008, 2012, 2013, and 14. These are the voters that both Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden are going to have to go after. And the reason I think that Hillary Clinton may have an advantage is that she really kicked off her whole campaign focused on women. And from sort of anecdotal conversations I've had with African-American voters, the issues that they care about are ones that are going to help support the family, support economic upward mobility. I think that there's a challenge here for both of these candidates to make sure that they sound like they're just engaged in political theater or political fluff, but that they're really tackling issues from education to the war on drugs to mass incarceration that are going to affect these families. And that's where I think Hillary does have the upper hand.
And very quickly, we only have a few seconds here, but I want to get your reaction from both of you. In your opinion, who is the candidate who is going to best resonate with the minority voter? Bakari?
Well, I think that Hillary Clinton has done yeoman's work in putting in the infrastructure. After Iowa and New Hampshire, we do know that the primary gets a lot browner and more reflective of the Democratic Party. But Hillary Clinton's done yeoman's work, and I'm a Hillary supporter, and I appreciate what she's done so far on issues that affect minority voters.
Sabrina?
I think that this is the opportunity for Republicans to actually get out there and talk about educational freedom, talk about the family, talk about reforming health care so people own and control those health care dollars, talk about reforming Social Security so it's not a regressive system that discriminates against two working parent families. There's a lot of ways that the GOP can make inroads here if they're willing to give it a try.
Who's your person now? Do you have somebody?
Well, I don't know if I have somebody. I admire what's happening with Carly Fiorina, but there's some good talent out there. We'll have to watch and see.
All right, we'll watch. Sabrina Schaefer, Bakari Sellers, thank you both for being here.
Thanks.
Thank you, Anna.
Don't forget about that first Democratic presidential debate. It is this Tuesday, October 13th, only on CNN. Still to come, Bill Cosby testifying under oath for the first time in a decade. What will he say, and will we ever know? That's next.